Olá, meus heróis e heroínas da TI. Eu sou Wellington apto e seja muito bem-vindo ao meu canal. Hoje eu vou fazer um formato de vídeo um pouco diferente. Não sei se você sabe, mas aconteceu aí, né, o Microsoft Ignite, um evento que a Microsoft faz todo ano e é o principal evento da Microsoft, pelo qual ela traz as novidades, principalmente no mundo de tecnologia, no mundo de computação em nuvem, no mundo de segurança da informação. E tem uma palestra bem legal, que é uma palestra do Yuri Diogenes, ele que é um grande mestre de segurança, uma referência para todo mundo no quesito Cloud Security. Ele fez uma palestra bem legal sobre Defender for Cloud. Eu não vi ainda essa palestra, então eu queria fazer um react com vocês. Eu vou ver a palestra pela primeira vez e eu queria compartilhar com vocês alguns pontos, alguns dados. E também, se você quiser comentar algo, fica aqui nos comentários, pode deixar aqui sua opinião, o que você achou da apresentação, da palestra e se você já conhece o produto. Vamos lá para a nossa o primeiro vídeo aqui de react do nosso canal.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining our session today. Before we start, who in this room is already using Defender for Cloud? All right.
E aí, você também usa o Defender for Cloud? Ele está perguntando a galera se o pessoal já usa essa ferramenta. Você já conhece o Defender for Cloud? Já ouviu falar? Já implementou na sua empresa? Comenta aqui para eu saber. Até porque se você não tiver utilizado ainda, eu vou saber e com certeza eu vou gravar um vídeo a respeito dessa ferramenta para você.
Great, that's amazing. And who is here for the first time to learn more about Defender for Cloud? That's good. That's a great audience. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are going to talk about Boost Multi-Cloud Security with Comprehensive Scopes to Cloud Strategy. My name is Yuri Diogenes. I'm a Principal PM Manager for the Customer Experience Engineering team. Our team is responsible for onboard Defender for Cloud and also work with engineers, developers to improve our product based on customers' feedback. And I have a great honor to have with me here my friend, Safina.
Hi everyone, so happy to see you all. My name is Safina. I'm a Principal Product Manager working in Cloud Security team. Let's kick off.
All right, let's go. Before we go to action, because I know that this audience is really looking for a lot of demos, we need to set the stage. And one of the things that has been happening over the last few years is the growth of the attack surface. We saw through the pandemic a acceleration in digital transformation, which really led companies to push cloud migrations. They had to enable their employees to work remotely, and many customers, they said, well, COVID was my digital transformation reason, basically. So they moved to the cloud really fast. What we notice is that many times security is not taken into consideration when doing those migrations. So it open the doors for threat actors to understand that there are a lot of misconfigurations and flaws in security hygiene. So this scenario...
O que ele está comentando aqui também, pessoal, é que a Covid, né, aqui no Brasil aconteceu isso lá, pelo que ele está relatando, e no Brasil também. As empresas tiveram que de uma hora para outra, pegar todo mundo que estava acostumado a trabalhar no escritório e trabalhar de casa. Claro, isso abriu muitas brechas de segurança que antes eles não pensavam. Você pegou essas pessoas que tinham computadores controlados e muitas das vezes liberaram para eles trabalharem de máquinas que não tinham antivírus, não tinham nenhuma VPN, não tinham nada. Isso com certeza foi um grande problema para as equipes de segurança. Ele está comentando que lá isso também aconteceu, acabou virando um problema para as empresas.
Makes us believe that cloud security is more important than ever, and that's a reality. As I said, companies are migrating to the cloud, but one thing that is changing a little bit is that they are migrating to this multi-cloud approach. So companies, they have workloads in Azure, they have workloads in AWS and GCP, and they need to have this management pane of glass throughout all the cloud provided in one single place. So it's a challenge for them, not only in multi-cloud space, but hybrid. Large organizations, they still have a lot of on-premise resources, and they need to manage those on-premise resources from the same place. Otherwise, what we see is the extension of the attack surface without this visibility. With that, it creates also the complexity when it comes to software development and deployment. It's really hard for bridge this gap that exists between developers and cloud administrators. They don't use the right tools, they don't have visibility, and we've been investing a lot on this.
Essa parte é bem legal porque o que ele explicou aqui pra gente é que hoje em dia dificilmente você vai encontrar um cliente que utiliza uma nuvem só. Ele vai utilizar lá a nuvem do Microsoft Azure, ele vai utilizar o AWS, ele vai utilizar o GCP, vai utilizar a Oracle, e são muitas nuvens. Chega um momento que é muito complexo você administrar todas elas, principalmente no quesito de segurança. Então, o Defender for Cloud, ele vai ser uma solução multiplataforma, onde você vai integrar ali com alguns provedores de soluções em nuvem, pelo menos os principais, e com a ferramenta, ela vai te trazer recomendações de segurança, vai te trazer boas práticas. Isso é muito legal, porque para a gente que administra muitos clientes, para a gente que administra multi-tenants ali relacionados a multiplataformas, né, com provedores diferentes, é muito bom você ter uma única ferramenta para você olhar para o seu ambiente, não importa qual seja a nuvem que ele esteja utilizando. Essa parte é bem legal e pelo que ele está explicando aqui, a Microsoft tem investido muito nessa parte.
As a matter of fact, 1 year ago at Ignite, we released Defender for DevOps, and we have great news about this today. But we've been working on that. We've been empowering developers to know more about how to secure their code. But customers, they need much more than that, because those workloads that are distributed across different cloud providers, they also need to have another lens on top of the secure hygiene, which is the regulatory compliance lens, because some workloads might need to be PCI compliant, HIPAA compliant. It depends on the type of business, but you need to have also this visibility. So adds another layer of complexity. Customers are using multiple tools just to achieve one single goal. And last but not least, the growth of identity baked into the automations, managed identity scripts, functions, which are inherent from cloud computing. Is one of the premise of cloud computing is the wrapped elasticity, is really allow customers to provision things fast. But if you do things fast without taking into consideration identity security, then you're going to have a problem. And identity security needs to be combined with cloud security, needs to be part of the same strategy.
Essa parte é legal porque é aquilo que eu sempre falo para os meus alunos lá na UniAcademy. Não adianta você seguir passo a passo, você fazer um projeto seguindo Next, Next, Finish. Existe uma preocupação real com a identidade dos usuários. Você habilitar o MFA, você ter ali uma política de acesso condicional que vai trabalhar também essa frente de segurança para o seu ambiente. Tudo isso está atrelado. Não adianta nada você subir o ambiente da nuvem de um modo rápido, de um modo completamente econômico, muitas das vezes, mas você não olhar para essa frente de segurança, principalmente relacionada à identidade. Isso é um detalhe muito importante que o Yuri está trazendo para a gente agora.
The days of working silos are over. We need to combine all those things. And that's why Gartner started to invest more in something called the CNAPP, the Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. So the vision from Gartner was, okay, nowadays we have a lot of silos. We have cloud secure posture management, cloud workload protection. We have all those things that are great, but they don't talk to each other. And that's a problem. The lack of integration between those platforms led Gartner to create this new platform called CNAPP. And the whole point of CNAPP is you have here on the diagram all the artifacts that will be scanned, the code, compute, identity, data, storage, everything is scanned and sent to this engine in the middle of this diagram. Now this engine, the advantage of CNAPP is that it brings together all those platforms, DevSecOps, Cloud Secure Posture, Workload Protection, Network Security, CAN, all those things needs to be connected and exchange information in this infinite life cycle between the development life cycle and runtime protection. So this is the power of CNAPP, is bringing all this together in this continuous improvement mode. And you may ask, what is this for me now? Well, the output of the CNAPP is the intelligence that it brings to you. It will allow you to have insights across the workloads, creating a more risk factor approach when it comes to posture management and end-to-end security solution. So that's the idea. With the CNAPP output, I'll be able to make smart decisions. And when we talk about CNAPP in the context of Microsoft, we are talking about this quadrant. So I'm going to start on the cloud security posture management. You all know that we have 2 tiers. If you work with Defender for Cloud, you know that we have the foundational CSPM, which brings you the assessment, the secure score, and everything for free. And then we have Defender CSPM, which is a new plan that we released at Microsoft Secure early this year in March, that brings the vision of the CNAPP with the attack path analysis, Cloud Security Explorer, and the agentless capabilities and everything in one single place. So we are covered on that.
É legal, ele está dizendo que tem 2 planos para o Defender for Cloud. Você tem o plano gratuito, pelo qual ele vai trazer ali algumas informações essenciais, porém mais básicas, e você tem um plano avançado que vai te trazer informações muito mais avançadas sobre o seu ambiente. Bem legal isso aqui.
We also cover when it comes to DevSecOps security, and as I mentioned before, we released Defender for DevOps 1 year ago, and today, ready for the first announcement. Today we are bringing this to Defender CSPM. What I mean by that, if you are a Defender CSPM customer and you have onboard your subscription Defender CSPM, now you get DevSecOps premium security capabilities as part of Defender CSPM without additional cost. Exactly. So this is our bet in empower customers to have in a single place with one single plan, DevSecOps capabilities baked into Defender CSPM. So think about that as a great deal, and it will just make life easier because you have everything in one single place. Then we have a lot of integration of cloud, infrastructure, and title management. Safina is going to talk a little bit more about that. We have also our plans, cloud workload protection. If you work with Defender for Cloud, you probably know that one of the most important things we need is understand if there are threat actors trying to do something malicious on your environment. So we need to react fast. To react fast, we need to have threat detections that were tailored to a specific workload. It doesn't really matter if you have threat detection for VM, but you're trying to protect a storage account. The threat landscape is not the same. So we invest with our research team to create analytics that work tailored specific for that scenario. So our workload protection platform is something that we continue to evolve. Now, the foundation of that is the integration across the Microsoft Security ecosystem.
Isso daqui é fantástico, pessoal. A Microsoft realmente é imbatível nisso que o Yuri está falando, que é o ecossistema de segurança. Quando você tem todas as soluções de segurança da Microsoft implantadas no seu ambiente, eu acho incrível como tudo se integra e como você tem realmente um rastreio de tudo que está acontecendo dentro da sua organização. É muito legal. Quando você precisa fazer uma auditoria, quando você precisa fazer uma análise, quando você precisa rastrear um incidente, é realmente fantástico, porque você tem ali toda a trilha do ataque que aconteceu, tudo aquilo, todo passo a passo, tudo que o atacante fez para poder alcançar ou tentar, invadir o seu ambiente, ele vai trazer isso para você. Esse ecossistema, quando você tem tudo integrado, é realmente fantástico. Vocês sabem que eu não fico pagando pau para solução nenhuma. Quando funciona, eu falo que funciona. Quando não funciona, eu falo que não funcionou para determinado cenário. Mas essa parte de ecossistema, eu preciso confessar que é muito boa realmente.
We have native integration with Purview, with our Defender ESM, with Network Security and Sentinel. So CNAPP is about having all those capabilities available for you from one single dashboard, which is Defender for Cloud. Now let's go to some other announcements, and I'm going to invite my great friend Safina to talk about the first 3 announcements. The first one being one that I know that is very dear to her, which is the Keen integration. Take it on.
Let's get to the next exciting part of the session, which is innovations. It gives me so much pride to be standing here and talking to you about all of this because my team has put a lot of hard work and it goes behind that, all of these features. The first one being Microsoft Entra Permissions Management integration with Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Speaking to our customers, we realized that security admins struggle to understand what identities they have in their environment and what are the permissions assigned to those identities. I was just speaking to one of the other customers in the booth yesterday, and they said that they are running a PowerShell script to understand what are the permissions they have in their identities. So if you think about it, it's very critical that you understand what are the permissions assigned to those identities. For example, if you have an identity that has over-permissive identity, then you're actually opening up door to the attackers. So it's really critical that you understand that part. So this integration with Microsoft Defender for Cloud helps you with just that. We are able to provide you all the identities that you have in your environment and the permissions assigned to those identities, and if the permissions have been used or not used and things like those. Not just that, if you have identities, for example, that are of not used, that's another recommendation that you will be getting along with this integration. And this integration is part of Defender CSPM offering. As long as you have Defender CSPM enabled, it comes as an extension. You have to enable the extension and you can take benefit of this one. And you do not require Enterprise Permissions Management license for this one to get the benefit out of the recommendations and to understand the permissions that you have assigned to your identities. But in case if you want to do deep remediation, or if you want to understand who actually assigned those permissions, or if you want to auto remediate and things like those, you require an EPM license. But for now, feel free to use this and let us know how you like it. So that's our first innovation to start with. Now let's get to the next one.
Bem, pelo que eu entendi, uma nova solução que ela vai ajudar na base de gerenciamento de acessos e privilégios para o seu ambiente. Vai ser bem legal, assim que possível eu testo e trago aqui para vocês no canal para a gente conhecer.
In DevOps Security Insights. So DevOps Security Insights, we used to call this as Azure Defender for DevOps, which we released it in last Ignite, where you could onboard your GitHub connector or Azure DevOps connector in order to monitor the repositories that you have for vulnerabilities, for known CVEs, or for secrets that's been enabled within the code. Now, I'm happy to announce that we are releasing a private preview GitLab Ultimate support as well. So you can have GitLab Ultimate connector onboarded and you can monitor your repositories. All in this, as long as you have Defender CSPM enabled, you can also benefit with this feature. Okay, so that's about DevOps Security Insights. Now, let's get to the next one. Improve security, improve container security across multi-cloud environments. We are excited to share that security admins will soon be able to get ahead of containerized application risk in the Kubernetes deployments with the support of Amazon AKS as well as Google GKE workloads. I'm saying security admins will soon be, because this is in private preview today. If you are a private preview customer and if you are in our community, make sure you use this. If you are not, make sure you join. We have all the information present in the notes for you to join the private preview community. And this feature will be released in public preview in December. So I'm going to give it back to Yuri to talk about the next 3 exciting features.
All right, who is already working with the attack path analysis here? Okay, so there is great news for you. We are enhancing the attack path analysis because it's already great. We are making it even better because now we are able to dynamically identify potential attack paths. In the past, our security researchers were creating those patterns of behaviors to understand the end-to-end potential attack path. Now we are dynamically looking at the environment of each customer and creating the attack path. But not only that, we are doing this cross-cloud, which means that if a threat actor starts the attack in Azure, for example, let's say that compromise a VM, and then jump to AWS resource.
Nossa, isso aqui é uma parada surreal. Eu nunca imaginei realmente que isso pudesse acontecer. Ele está explicando que agora ele vai conseguir rastrear multi-ambientes, um ataque que possa acontecer em muitos ambientes. Por exemplo, você está lá no Microsoft Azure e você também possui o ambiente de AWS, os dois estão integrados. O atacante, ele começa um ataque lá no Microsoft Azure para ele tentar fazer aí uma movimentação até chegar no seu ambiente AWS e você vai ser capaz de rastrear isso. Isso é fantástico. Realmente, na minha opinião, não sei a opinião de vocês, comentem aqui que eu quero saber a opinião de vocês também, mas eu achei algo completamente surreal. Vamos lá, Yuri, fala aí o que mais de novo você pode dizer a respeito disso.
We are able to get this lateral movement cross-cloud. We didn't have this. It's amazing. We are able to see that now across AWS, GCP, and Azure. So we are taking the attack path to the next level. The other thing we're doing is we are releasing the GA of Defender for APIs. Now, this is a huge announcement because we invest a lot on this, not only from the security hygiene perspective to improve the overall security posture of APIs, but also threat detection. And we have more information during the demo, but this is going GA now. And last but not least, are you ready for this? I know that this is something that you were waiting for. The integration of Secure Copilot with Defender for Cloud. Applause. This is awesome.
Legal, legal. Vou até voltar um pouquinho aqui. Ele anunciou também aqui uma integração.
This is something that will take Defender for Cloud to the next level, integration with AI.
Isso vai ser muito
It will
legal.
allow you to do smart. This company called Fabricant that you probably know. This with AI. This is awesome.
Isso aqui, ó.
The integration of Secure
Integração
Copilot
do Security Copilot e o Defender for Cloud. Esse aqui vai ser top, hein? Esse aqui vai
with
ser
Defender
muito
for
legal.
Cloud. Applause.
O pessoal até aplaudiu.
This is awesome. This is something that it will take Defender for Cloud to the next level, integration with AI. It will allow you to do smart decisions with the help of Copilot. I have one slide for that, so I'm not going to take too much time here, but this is absolutely fantastic. And I know that a lot of you here are looking for demos, and we're going to have two scenarios. One scenario for this company called Fabricant that you probably know. This company is very well known at Microsoft, but it's based on real-world scenarios. Our team work with customers, so we understand what they really think about. And one of the things that they complain, the challenge is called remediation fatigue. Who here had tried to get 100% on secure score? Anyone was able to get 100% on secure score here? Yeah, what? Oh, there is one there. Oh, that's Thomas, doesn't really help. But anyway, it's hard. It's hard because so many recommendations. And a lot of customers come to me and say, Yuri, I have 100 high severity recommendations. Which one should I do first? Okay, I understand that. We understand that. And we are improving and giving something that will help you today at Ignite. Lack of visibility across cloud. This is another challenge. So with challenge, they also have goals. How can we take our company to the next level by improving our secure posture across all clouds? How can we have better visibility and prioritization of recommendations? And how can I do proactive remediation? I'm tired of being reactive. I want to be proactive. I want to get to a point where I'm one step ahead of the threat actor. All right, so we have some goals in mind, and we have some things to achieve. We need to identify and prioritize all the recommendations. We need to synthesize contextual insights and identify potential attacks. And that's big. We need to have a place where we can go to see everything related to data security posture. Because sometimes the information is scattered across many places. It makes it hard for you to investigate. But if you have one single place, it will make it much easier. And we have that. So let me switch to the demo, the first demo of the day.
Vamos lá, ele vai fazer a primeira demonstração do dia. Vamos ver o que o Yuri tem para mostrar para a gente. Vamos lá.
And let me go to this environment that you know very well. So the first goal of Fabricant is really recommendation fatigue. And when we talk about recommendation fatigue, we always land on this dashboard, right? All right, so today we are...
É importante dizer também que ele comentou ali antes que os clientes eles reclamam muito da quantidade de recomendações. Então, às vezes, você tem muitas recomendações e os clientes não sabem por onde começar. Isso acontece realmente. Então, muitas das vezes o cliente me procura na consultoria querendo saber, né? Entender como que ele pode começar. A gente tem muito esse trabalho. E ele está falando muito disso aqui, que os clientes reclamam muito disso para ele.
Releasing this new visualization, okay, which is the recommendation by risk. This really takes things to a different level because now we are using what we call risk factor to give you more information about what is important. First of all, it is a multi-cloud capability, so it's available across the cloud.
Legal, que ele comentou sobre o ambiente ser multi-cloud, né? Aqui tem o Microsoft Azure, a subscrição, aqui você tem o AWS e um GCP integrado e um novo painel ali, que é um painel de recomendação com base em risco. Maneiro.
That we support, and as you can see, there is this critical thing here. So it's not only high, medium, and low, we have critical things that you need to address. And the good thing about this is that we are doing this based on what we call risk factors. So what this really means, let me go to one of those and let me zoom into the rationale behind the risk factors. So when we say risk factors, we are taking into consideration vulnerabilities, we are taking exposure, lateral movement, sensitivity data. All those things are taken into consideration for us to rank something extremely important. But not only that, this is the key for everything, attack path. Now, what this really means is, if you remediate this recommendation, you are breaking the chain of 12 attack paths. So there is, at this point, in this environment, there are 12 attack paths that will enable the attacker to move laterally to exploit a different resource. By going to the graph here, I'll be able to see all those attack paths, and which means that once I remediate the recommendation for this machine, I'm breaking the chain, which means the threat actor won't be able to move from the external resource to inside of the network and do some collateral damage, right? So this is huge. We are providing you what is really important to do right now. So we are reducing the noise and saying, these are the things that you have to be concerned about right now. So that's the new recommendation dashboard that give you risk factors. So this is one great thing that we are bringing. The other one was about multi-cloud resources. And when it comes to multi-cloud resources, it's really difficult to have the clear visualization of what's going on in the environment. So the attack path cross-cloud capability allowed you to do that. So let me create a filter here for the risk level, say high and critical. And I'm going to add a filter for the target because I'm looking at potential attacks on my AWS RDS-DB instance. Now look at this. This is very cool. Our team, our research team did such a cool job here because you look at this, you have the resource that is in Azure, right? And that's the beginning of the attack. And the threat actor is going to be able to jump to an AWS resource. This is amazing. This is truly amazing. So let me open up this resource here and look to the attack path. So the threat actor, in this case, will be able to come from Azure.
Esse caminho do ataque aqui, né, o attack path, ele é fantástico, porque você consegue realmente acompanhar isso que ele está mostrando para a gente. Todo o trajeto ali, o caminho, né, não sei qual seria a tradução exata para isso, mas você consegue acompanhar ali realmente todo o trajeto do ataque. Isso é muito legal.
And the cool thing about the attack path, if you notice, is that we have those icons here. And it's just not to make the attack path beautiful, but also to tell you that we have active alerts, we have insights with this bulb, and we have contextual information about the resource. You remember the Synapse vision with the engine in the middle and all the insights? That's it. That's the Synapse in action right there. So in this case, the threat actor exploit a VM. It will be able to move. This VM has a SSH private key that can authenticate to AWS EC2 instance that contains AWS RDS connection string that can authenticate to the database. So the entire attack path is there. Once I remediate something early on this machine, I break the entire chain. So this is super powerful. Your goal is to have zero attack path.
Cara, é fantástico. É realmente surreal. Você entender toda o trajeto que um atacante faria para poder alcançar o objetivo dele. E ele tem todo o passo a passo. Isso é realmente surpreendente, viu?
If you want to really know what's your goal is to have zero attack path.
Detalhe, é o possível, né? Aquilo não aconteceu ainda. Aquilo é um possível ataque. Ele está te falando o que pode acontecer, pelo que eu estou entendendo.
which means that you are prioritizing what is important in your environment. So that's super cool. Now, the last goal for Fabricant was to have a centralized data visualization place, and that's where we have our data security dashboard that we are releasing at Ignite. This dashboard brings you everything together, not only from the security posture perspective, but also from the threat detection. So it starts by giving you this idea of, okay, what is the coverage? And what I mean by coverage is, to have this dashboard, you need Defender CSPM. And some of the insights also come from our workload protection platforms, such as Defender for storage, Defender for SQL. So those plans will allow you to have some other insights. So we have the coverage information here. We have the resources available, storage, managed database, host database. And the cool thing about this dashboard is that it highlights you the top issues. So if you look at the top issues, you can focus what is important. And notice side by side we have information about alerts. Remember, alerts belongs to workload protection. So this is more reactive. Someone is trying to do something. And we have a more proactive with the attack path, which is part of our Defender CSPM. We are combining, bring it together so you have this single visualization. Now, you can go deeper. You can actually look at your sensitive data discovery, okay, by click on this hyperlink and open the Cloud Security Explorer and run the query. Now, the Cloud Security Explorer is a part of the Defender CSPM, so the dashboard basically create a query for you to run, but you can customize. And one thing that is important that we are releasing also is information about data sensitivity in APIs. A lot of people think that data security is about storage and database because that's where information is. But data can also be in transit. What if there are API calls with sensitive information? How do you know that? Well, now you can, because now with Defender for APIs, we allow you to do that. So we can create a query here for APIs endpoint, and we can add a condition for data contain sensitive data and run. Boom, just like that. You have information about APIs. When we show this to customers, they're like, I had no idea that there were sensitive data on my APIs. Well, you saw in less than 10 seconds now you can have this information.
O que ele está falando agora é sobre API, né, que muitas das vezes tem dados e informações confidenciais passando nessas APIs e o cliente não sabe disso. E quando ele faz essa demonstração, o cliente fica espantado, sem entender, porque ele não fazia ideia que tinha essas informações trafegando pela API. Isso é muito legal mesmo.
Information. So this is super powerful. And I hope you realize that. There are much more. I'm going to let Safina continue the presentation now to talk about the other cool things that we have.
Amazing. Okay, switch back to the presentation, please. Cool. So I brought you another scenario here of Contoso organization, and I'm sure you're familiar with that as well. So to start with, a developer is trying to gain awareness of the security flaws that he has in the code. And the challenges that he has is they're using several tools and they don't know how to kind of make sure that they are maintaining the security posture for those tools. And also they are going through several platforms, GitHub, ADO, and all of the developer platforms. The goal of the developer is to make sure that they are following security best practices and they are eliminating the security flaws. So remember this scenario and I'll let you know how Defender for Cloud can help you with that. Now let's look at another scenario where our security admin, our friend, comes into picture where he's actually worried about the security posture of dev security as well as API security posture. All the goal of him is to make sure that he's taking care of the recommendations that's being flagged and he is not getting into the recommendations fatigue scenario, as well as he needs to have visibility into what my developer is working on, what code they are pushing, and if the codes that they are pushing, it has vulnerabilities or not. How do I make sure that I have visibility to it? That's one of the challenges that we always had from the security admin's perspective. So I'm going to talk to you about how Defender for for Cloud can help you in that scenario as well. Now, the last scenario that I want to present you is our incident responder. They are actually worried about all the incidents that comes in. They want to be making sure that they are not falling into a scenario where attackers are actually taking care of the nitty-gritty details that they have left off and taking that into account to make sure that they have good context into the information that's been provided by the alerts, and they are able to detect if they are into a compromised situation. Now let's get to the demo to show you how Defender for Cloud
Só complementando aqui, ela falou aqui, né, sobre 3 papéis importantes aqui, que é o Security Admin, a pessoa que é o administrador responsável pela segurança. Você tem o developer, a pessoa que está desenvolvendo, e aí muitas das vezes esses códigos não foram desenvolvidos de um modo seguro. E você tem a pessoa que responde os incidentes de segurança, que normalmente é o pessoal da equipe de SOC, é o pessoal que trabalha ali em 24/7, olhando e analisando esses alertas.
The information that's been provided by the alert, all of these scenarios. Okay, I'm on the Defender for Cloud dashboard, and this is a DevOps security dashboard that's dedicated to DevOps security specifically.
Isso é muito legal, um painel específico focado em segurança para DevOps. Você pode ver aqui que ele já está, inclusive, integrado com o GitHub. Já tem aqui o ícone do GitHub aqui, ó. Provavelmente eles já integraram para fazer essa demonstração.
I'll show you a specific ADO that I pushed for this demo. Yeah. So the security graph demo is one of the repositories that I pushed recently with some code, and I see that Defender for Cloud has been able to flag some unhealthy recommendations. So let's see what it is. It's telling me that the Azure DevOps repository has some secrets that's been found in my code repository, and that needs to be remediated if you want to prevent the security breach. And we also give you good remediation steps to see how you want to remediate it. Now, if I click on the findings, I'll be able to see more description and the general information and also additional information. Now, as a security admin, I have complete visibility to what my developers are doing with the help of this view, right? So as a security admin, I could click on the URL, and which will actually take me to the Azure DevOps page. And if I have access to the Azure DevOps page, I could as well log in and see how the code is being pushed. And Advanced Security Blade actually gives me more information on the remediation steps, but I could click on the repos and actually see the code, and I could see the pull request that my security admin, my developer has been able to create, and what are the errors that Defender for Cloud has been able to surface. Now, if you think about the first scenario that I presented in the slide, as a developer, I do not need to log into the Defender for Cloud dashboard to identify what are the errors that I have been found in the code. I could as well sit in the tool that I like and I use, and I will be able to see all of these details that's been flagged through Microsoft Defender for Cloud and right here into my pull requests. And if I try to execute the pipeline, you should be able to see if there is any vulnerabilities that's been found. It should be able to see all of that information right here in the dashboard. And this goes same with GitHub repositories as well as GitLab Ultimate. I just showed you an example of ADO. And with the interest of time, I'm going to show you one other cool thing, which is Cloud Security Explorer. Like Yuri mentioned, this is a part of Defender for CSPM feature. And so as long as you have Defender CSPM, you could use this. And this is Azure DevOps is integrated with with Cloud Security Explorer. Now, as a security admin, I have the capability to actually query what are the repositories that the developer has pushed. And I could add more conditions to it, like for example, if I want to see the recommendations that's been flagged, or if I want to basically see if there is any public access repositories that's been pushed by the developer, I should be able to get all of that information right here. Now let's switch the scenario to API security. So if you remember, security admin was also worried, and he wants to understand if my API security is security posture is working well. So as a security admin, I could click on the workload protections, and I could go to the dedicated dashboard that we have for API security, which will take me to this particular blade. This will actually give me more information on the number of APIs that I have onboarded in my environment, and it gives me all of the good information, how many times it's been authenticated, along with the sensitive data that's been present in that particular API endpoint. Now let's take an example of banking API. So this banking API has these many endpoints, and if you look at it, we are able to show you what are the sensitive information types that you have, which makes it more critical for you to resolve these recommendations. And you should be able to see this information in the attack path as well as Cloud Security Graph Explorer as well. So one other item that I want to show you is, and which is important for the security admins, is Cloud Security Explorer is also integrated.
Muito legal essa parte do Cloud Security Explorer.
With APIs. So I could query the APIs to see how many API collections I have and the API endpoints and all of those details. Or I could as well use built-in templates that we have. Like if I scroll down, we do have number of built-in templates based on the use case scenarios that we receive from the customers. I'll just load one of the template. This template is specifically an API communicating over an encrypted protocol. So when I double click on it, it actually loads the query, and if you look at it, it's pretty complicated query. It's looking at API management services that contains API collections and API endpoints, which is exposed to internet, and it also has flagged some recommendations. So I have the capability to search, and which will actually give me the results if I have anything in my environment. It's so simple.
Legal, ele tem algumas queries prontas para que você possa utilizar para trazer a informação que você gostaria. Ao invés de você ficar pesquisando query na internet ou tentando criar alguma da sua cabeça, ele já vai trazer algumas prontas ali para você utilizar.
To be proactive as a security admin to understand what's going on in my environment. One last piece of information, if you remember the scenario that I presented, is as an incident responder, I need to make sure my alerts are being taken care of. So as Defender for Cloud presents you with security alerts, and I'll just query with the API here to show you one of the very cool security alert. So this one specifically is flagging and telling me that there is a suspicious spike in the API traffic from the single endpoint. And if you look at it, we give you all the information about sensitive information types, and we give you the historical behavior. So historical behavior was supposed to be this, but there is a deviation from the historical behavior that we have found, and which is why we have flagged this alert for you. So you have the capability to dig down and see more potential causes of why this alert has been flagged, and click on take action to actually know how to mitigate this threat. Either use automated response or suppress if you think that this alert is alert fatigue or a false alert, and so on and so forth. So if you then put everything all together in the scenario and think about the slide that I presented as Contoso organization, I could just stay in the Microsoft Defender for Cloud in order to view the developer view as well as the security posture view. And I'm going to give it over to Yuri to cover the next.
Awesome. Thank you, Safina. That was great. Let's go back to the slides real quick, because we have some key takeaways from this whole thing. When you are thinking about a Synapse strategy, why Defender for Cloud is the best option available? Well, first, because it's not looking only from the multi-cloud space. It also looks for on-premise. We cannot ignore the fact that there are hundreds of organizations that they still have on-premise resource, and they still need to manage those resources from a single place. So we need to understand that, and we need to empower customers to preserve that investment on-prem, and we need to monitor those. The other thing that is important is CSPM, we are done with just a baseline. Baseline is cool, it helps, but we need a more contextual approach to CSPM. We need to take to the next level and give things that are important to you. That's why we are bringing the risk factor recommendation, because it's not only about baseline, it's about being intelligent and give you the context of everything so you can prioritize what is important for you.
Isso é muito legal. O que ele falou agora é sobre saber priorizar. Não adianta nada, às vezes você chega e traz lá para o seu cliente um monte de recomendação. Às vezes você contratou uma empresa, ela trouxe lá 50 recomendações, mas ela não te explica como priorizar. Muitas das vezes as pessoas me procuram na consultoria justamente para isso, para entender, olha, como que eu começo? Que prioridade eu tenho que dar para o meu ambiente? Como eu sei qual recomendação tem que ser aplicada primeiro? Então, muitos dos casos, eu sou contratado como consultor para efetuar esse tipo de, trazer esse tipo de informação para o cliente final. E, pelo visto, não é um problema do Brasil, é um problema mundial aqui que o Yuri está trazendo para a gente, que os clientes lá de fora também tinham essa questão.
Also, we need to ensure that you understand that we have this native integration with Kin, and now DevOps is part of Defender CSPM. So we are bringing all those things together into the dashboard that you know and that you've been working for a long time. And talking about this, just out of curiosity, how many of you are working with Defender for Cloud for more than 2 years? 3 years? 4 years? Wow, that's amazing, you two guys, awesome. So Defender for Cloud has evolved a lot, and it was before called Azure Security Center, but now is our Synapse platform that brings everything together. The other thing is CWP, Cloud Workload Protection. That is one of the main things that customer comes to us and say, this is great. We need the threat detection that you have, because we need to send this to our SOC team and empower them with those alerts. So if you have a SIEM solution such as Microsoft Sentinel or even another solution, you can still ingest all those alerts to your SIEM and empower the SOC team to react. Remember, there are two different lenses, right? The proactive things to do, which is close the door, secure hygiene, do your best to prevent an attack. But using the assume breach mindset, we know that at some point we may get compromised. So we need to react fast, and that's where cloud workload protection comes into place with the tailored threat detections. Proactive hunting. Not many organizations are there yet. This is about level of maturity in this migration to the cloud. A lot of organizations still trying to catch up, so they don't have a level of maturity, which is doing proactive hunting of posture management.
Aqui ele está falando de caça proativa, né? Seria o quê? Seria, ao invés de você ficar aguardando o atacante chegar no seu ambiente, ao invés de você ficar aguardando algum alerta subir, ao invés de você ficar aguardando algum incidente verdadeiramente acontecer, você conseguir gerar uma espécie de proatividade para entender possíveis ataques que possam acontecer no seu ambiente e se proteger antes que eles aconteçam.
How can I go ahead now that I have zero attack path, my security score is great and everything? How can I be proactive? I just heard about the 0 day, and there are some things in my environment that I would like to query using the Cloud Security Explorer to understand if my environment is really susceptible to that vulnerability. So you can do those proactive hunting. And there are organizations that even have a dedicated team to do that. So we are empowering customers with the Cloud Security Explorer to do proactive hunting. So these are the main takeaways. We have one more great announcement, Safina.
Yeah, so today we are happy to announce that we are bringing this capability to our customers that are using dedicated XDR environment today. So Microsoft Defender for Cloud is integrated with M365, so you can push your alerts to M365 to have a single streamlined experience. And this is just...
Legal, ele está anunciando que agora vai ser integrado com o Microsoft 365.
First stage of our integration. We will see more coming up. I just wanted to give a brief overview on it, and with the interest of time, I'm going to pass it over to Yuri. We have a couple of slides to cover.
Yeah, and the private preview of Secure Copilot integration with Microsoft Defender for Cloud. This is private preview. We are starting this journey of integration with AI and using the power of AI to help security administrators to make smarter decisions. There are two key scenarios that we are coming with this private preview and using Copilot. First of all, Copilot is integrated. On this dashboard here, you have an example of where Copilot, I'm going to step over here. Copilot is right here, integrated in Defender for Cloud dashboard. So it's an embedded experience that you can ask questions about your environment. You can have a conversation with the Copilot and say, hey, what my vulnerability?
Muito legal, pessoal. Olha, pode olhar esse print aqui, ó, que ele colocou aqui na tela, o Yuri colocou pra gente. Basicamente, é o Copilot já integrado aqui, ó, dentro da página do Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Então, você está visualizando aqui a dashboard do Defender for Cloud e aqui na lateral você já tem o Security Copilot pelo qual você já está interagindo com ele. Isso aqui é muito bacana, realmente eu estou bem ansioso para poder testar esse recurso.
What about my vulnerabilities in this workload? What about this? And you keep asking follow-up questions until you narrow for what is important to you. So we are giving this power to drill down critical risks for your environment. On top of that, we are also helping security administrators to expedite remediations. How many times I heard people say, can you help me with remediations? And then we have the quick fix that helps a lot. But then there are many other scenarios that they need help with remediation. Scripts, how can I automate this remediation across my workloads? So Copilot is going to help you with that. It's going to give you example of potential remediation, even build scripts for you. How cool is that? This is really the power of AI together with the Synapse, bringing all those things to help you manage your environment and make better decisions about it. So that's a private preview. Stay tuned that we have more information about it, but these are the two scenarios that we are going to start with.
Yeah, so we want to close it off with this slide. So if you haven't used Microsoft Defender for Cloud, you know how great things are here. So make sure you sign up for free trial. And if you're already using Microsoft Defender for Cloud, make sure you explore our new functionalities and try new code to cloud capabilities that we have with Defender CSPM, where you can get many capabilities for free, like SIM integration, like DevOps, and many more. Attack pods and Cloud Security Explorer, just to name some. Also, we are at the Ask for Experts session in the security booth, so make sure you join us there. Thank you.
All right, we have, not yet. We have more here, real quick. More breakout, more demos, and one thing that is not on this slide, this is...
Pessoal, é isso. E aí, curtiu esse formato novo? Eu achei bem legal, porque eu dedico ali pelo menos de 2 a 3 horas do meu dia a estudar. Então aproveito para assistir uma palestra nova e trazer também esse conteúdo para vocês, para que vocês possam estudar junto comigo. O Yuri mais uma vez deu show na apresentação dele, foi muito legal mesmo, muita novidade. Acho que de tudo que foi mostrado ali, essa integração com o Copilot para mim vai ser fantástica, vai ser algo surreal que vai ajudar muito o nosso dia a dia. Então muito obrigado por assistir esse vídeo. Não se esquece de deixar o like, de compartilhar, manda nos grupos, cara, ajuda a fortalecer a nossa comunidade, porque assim eu fico mais animado e nunca vou parar de produzir conteúdos como esse para você. Então um grande abraço e até o próximo vídeo. Valeu!